All right, here are your, well, some of them anyway, the highest paid players in NFL history. And look, if you're healthy, like Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, you've got a losing record, and the other guys are injured. So it's not faring well for teams who went out and spent a ton of money on franchise quarterbacks over the last year or so. We have Rick Spielman, who spent many a year in the front office of teams all over the league, including the Minnesota Vikings, and we have Pete Prisco. You've got a situation in Jacksonville where you put everything on Trevor Lawrence, and he has the longest losing streak in the league, 8 straight. The team looks like a mess. Pete says that they've quit. I mean, how you feeling if you're in the front office right now and you've got all that money tied to one guy?
Not very good, especially the way Mr. Khan looked at that press box up in Cincinnati. And I got an opportunity to watch that game, and it looks like they just have no rhythm on offense. Trevor, even like on the interception, right? He did not set his feet. The ball went sailing over across the deep crosser route. There's no rhythm in what he's doing. I don't know if him and if Doug Peterson's calling the plays. There's no connection there. He did look a little better in the third quarter, though. There was a stint there. They looked like, hey, this is a functional quarterback. But right now, they're just a mess, and it looks like they have nothing going. And I don't even know what their identity is on offense at this point.
Yeah, I think he's trying to press too much. And when you watch him, there's nothing that's easy about it. I mean, he did make a really good throw into the end zone that Christian Kirk should have caught for a touchdown. They've had more drops than any team in the league in the last 3 years. I mean, they don't catch the football. But he's not playing well. The game plan is awful. It's a terrible game plan, and they won't say who's calling the plays, which is mystifying to me. And why those reporters don't press them on that every day. I'd ask them every single day, do you call the plays? Who's calling the plays? Why won't you say who's calling the plays? It's ridiculous.
Who do you think's calling the plays?
I think Doug Peterson's calling the plays. I think, and if he's not, he's ultimately responsible for it. Look, Doug Peterson didn't do a great job with Carson Wentz when he was there either, when he was in Philadelphia. He had the great accident run with Nick Foles, won a Super Bowl, has skins on the wall, and then he hasn't been great with the quarterbacks. Let's be honest about it. And I think his offense is built too much going this way instead of down the field. I think that's a problem.
And we looked at, you know, the highest paid quarterbacks. The best record on there is Dak Prescott at 1-2. And on the flip side, we have guys like Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, who have gotten second chances elsewhere, and they're at 3-0. And it kind of adds to the conversation, like all of these underdog teams are doing a lot better than we expected. But Pete, why is it working out that way? That we're seeing Geno Smith, Justin Fields, Sam Darnold at 3-0 at this point of the season, and not guys like Dak and Trevor and Jordan Love?
Because it's 3 weeks in. That's why. Everything evens out usually at some point. You are what you are, and you usually become who you are. And I'm not. I mean, so give credit to Geno Smith. He's been good for a couple of years. He's playing well again. Give credit to Sam Darnold for what he's done. But why are the Vikings winning? They're winning because Brian Flores' defense. That's why. And all those guys that are still there from when you drafted a guy like Harrison Smith, who's had a resurgence. He's playing great football. So I think it's more about the defense. Look, Darnold's been good, but let's see it continue. It's always see it continue with a guy like that.
There's no question about his physical ability, his ability to throw the ball, but I'm going to give a lot of credit to Coach O'Connell and what he's doing on offense. And I watched it. Their schemes, they got deep crossing routes, they got picking routes. No one can cover Justin Jefferson right now. Guys are wide open, and they're protecting well up front.
Christian Darrisaw. Who picked him?
O'Neal.
You did.
Bradbury, you got to watch
crazy.
Bradbury.
You're giving Rick
you're giving him credit? What's going on?
Because he actually had a lot of really good picks.
Okay, is it time for me to go?
No, not yet, Rick.
Leave on a high note.
Yeah, but again, all 3 of those teams have played good defenses, and 2 of them.
But the one thing, they're not turning the ball over. None of these quarterbacks have really turned the ball. Now, Geno Smith turned it over twice. Once was a dumb throw out of the end zone, but the other one was a pick at the end. Justin Fields has not turned the ball over. One time on an option route this past week, he threw his first interception. But they're doing a good job taking care of the ball, which has helped.
And 2 of those teams haven't played anybody yet. The Steelers haven't played anybody really either. Neither have the Seahawks. The Seahawks, you know, they beat the Dolphins last week without Tua. I mean, come on, give me a break.
Before we move on to the Panthers really quickly, Geno, Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, who do you think has the best chance to not turn into what you think they are?
Geno.
Okay.
I think Geno's done it a little bit longer and had a little bit, the last couple of years he's had more success.
I'm going to go with Justin Fields because I think him and Arthur Smith are in sync. They're doing things that he does best. One read, get the ball out, use his legs. they really tailored this offense to what his strengths are. And I thought Arthur Smith has done a great job so far. Don't bring in Russell Wilson.
No.
You're 3-0. Why fix something that isn't broken?
I'm with you.
I'm excited to talk about the Panthers because we have Andy Dalton, who kind of gave this Panthers team a little bit of life against the Raiders. So, Rick, we know you and Pete are on opposite sides of the Bryce Young conversation, but if you are Carolina and you see that from Andy Dalton and you know what you have with him in a quarterback, how do you handle this situation moving forward?
Play Andy Dalton the way he looked last week. Now, you talked about the Las Vegas Raiders and their players maybe not making business decisions, which may have helped, but when you watched Andy Dalton last week, he gets the ball out on time. He throws receivers open. When you're watching Bryce Young, he's waiting for receivers to come open. I mean, the throw to Adam Thielen down the seam for a touchdown, he was just in sync. I mean, I didn't know Deontay Johnson was on that team till this week. They doubled his targets, and he had 122 receiving yards. So this is showing what a veteran quarterback who has seen a lot of defense, can read what's going on and get the ball out quickly, where Bryce Young can't do that yet. He will be able to, but not yet. Wherever he ends up, he's going to be a good quarterback.
So is he done in Carolina?
I don't know. They're saying he's not, but for me, if he went on and moved to another situation with another coaching staff, and Dave Canales, I think, is great as a quarterback guru, but I think it would have been best for him to sit this year, understanding the pressure and the #1 overall, but let him sit and regroup and learn, and hopefully he'll learn and see what Andy Dalton does, and then he's going to get another opportunity. I don't know if he'll be in Carolina. I think he'd be a great fit in Miami.
What's his trade value, though? I mean, if he does sit this whole season.
I think he'd be like probably a Saturday pick, fourth, fifth
sub
round.
sandwich.
Yeah.
Slice of pizza. I mean, okay. Didn't Ken Wisenhunt just get a job in the new league, and so maybe Ken Wisenhunt can get him to play quarterback for him. He's a backup quarterback. That's
What's
what
the
he
inside
is.
joke there? I
He's
didn't
going to be
catch
a
that.
starter.
What?
He'll be a solid starter in this league once he gets his legs.
I disagree with you.
What's the
Okay.
Ken Wisenhunt
He's
joke?
in that,
I didn't
he's
get
in
it.
that spring league. He's in the
UFL.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
But I mean, he's not going to be a starter in this league. He's a backup quarterback.
He'll
in
be
this
a
league.
starter in this league. He'll be a good
I disagree
starter.
with you 100%. What is he? Just out of curiosity, for the games that he started with Carolina, what did he do well?
Well, it was hard to say. He did a lot of things well. I'm just saying that. But he didn't have a lot of support.
But
he's been
you know
through
what?
3 offensive coordinators,
I get
3
it.
head coaches, and 19. We can go through all
But
the excuses.
the pressure they
and
went,
he did not play well. I'm acknowledging
okay,
that.
but they spent money.
But he's 19 games into his NFL career. How can you say he's going to be a bust? There's plenty of time for him to come.
There's evidence.
To Rick's point, you got guys that have been in situations like that. It just hasn't worked where they've gone. I mean, look, Malik Willis, we've talked Dalton, we've talked Darnold, Geno Smith, Justin Fields.
Let me ask you this. Was Tua a bust before Mike McDaniel came down and was the head coach?
I mean, yeah, I think Pete was saying he could have been, yeah.
Mike, are you kidding me? That Tua, Bryce Young made that Tua look like Marino. I mean, that's how bad Bryce Young is. He made that Tua, that version of Tua look like Marino.
Who's the next? Because we've seen these.
Where do they come?
These cast-off quarterbacks,
you know,
right?
the only real cast-off that's ever really won anything was Jim Plunkett way back in the day. He won Super Bowls.
Teach us,
They don't come
teach us the
around.
history of the NFL there, Grandpa
Did
Pete.
you cover that Super Bowl?
No, that was way. That's before my
Here are
time. I
some
watched
names,
it. I
some
watched
guys
it, so did you.
who've been drafted high recently, like the Sam Howells, Zach Wilsons, Mac Jones of the world, maybe Jameis Winston in Cleveland. Who's the next guy that's going to jump up and get the chance and maybe make the most of their second or third chance, you think?
Nobody on that list.
Yeah.
They're not going to be. They're backup quarterbacks.
You
now.
probably would have said the same thing, though, if we gave you a list of Sam Darnold and Justin Fields and Andy Dalton and Malik Willis.
To be determined. You think Malik Willis is a starting quarterback for somebody now in the NFL?
I'm not saying he is, but he's made the most of his next chance.
Correct.
No, he got with a good coach that understands what his skill set is and has tailored that offense to what he does best.
But
For a small sample, he can do that. You can't do that over the course of the long haul.
You don't
can't.
know that.
Is Malik
What
Willis?
is he, 2-0? Give the guy a chance to warm
He's got
up.
the second best passer rating in the league.
He's better than Will Levis. They should have kept him over Will Levis.
No, they shouldn't.
Didn't you say that you think that the Browns should go to Jameis Winston?
No, But Jameis Winston has been a starting quarterback in this league before. You're not comparing him to those other guys.
He was just on that list we showed.
Well, Jameis Winston would be the one who could come in and play and be the
Did you
starting
even look at the list?
If he learns what color the opposite color jersey is, because he has a tendency to throw it to the other team.
See, he hates turnovers. Totally understand. I'd rather have a guy that throws touchdown passes. And
we're in the white jerseys today.
Yeah, okay.
Rick, is there anybody on that list that stands out to you as a guy, Jameis, Sam Howell, that could make the most of another opportunity?
I'm
Or
going
is
to
it
say,
just, stick with Bryce Young?
I'm going to say Sam Howell.
Okay.
Because of what that system
He's
is
in
doing.
Seattle now.
Yeah, with Ryan Grubb's offense, and it's kind of a college offense, and defenses haven't figured it out yet. And the way Geno Smith's playing, I think if Sam Howell got an opportunity in that offense, he would shine.
Look, Sam Howell, it's hard to evaluate him from what happened last year because he got beat to death last year. So
and he had some really good games and made some really good throws. He is an underrated athlete as well.
Yeah, I mean, but Jameis Winston's been a starter before for a while. It's
He's
not
just
like
colorblind.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sam Howell, Jayden Daniels is there in Washington, and he's been lights out his first 3 games. Over 80% of his passes he's completing. It's really even more impressive when you look at the other rookie quarterbacks and how they have performed so far. Is he at that like C.J. Stroud level where he's that much better than every other quarterback in his class?
I think he is. Right now, it looks like it. And him and Cliff Kingsbury are on the same page. And what I've seen from week 1 to what we saw in Cincinnati, he's starting to get through his progressions. I actually see him looking left and coming back right. There's no question about what he can do with his legs and how he makes plays with his legs. Not as elusive as Lamar Jackson, but does have that type of ability to put stress on the defense. When you watch that Cincinnati game, how many times did he make 3rd and 4th down conversions, especially in the 4th quarter, to keep the ball in their hands, not giving Joe Burrow a chance to come back? What you're seeing is he's pushing the ball downfield more, and the accuracy you've seen in college, now you're starting to see in NFL because he's more comfortable throwing the ball and understanding what the speed of the game is at this level.
And this was a guy that was playing for Pete's poor old Arizona State Sun Devils.
He wasn't that guy. I can tell you when he was there, he wasn't that guy. He's the most improved player I've ever seen through the scouting process from start to finish.
Joe Burrow was the most improved.
No, he is. He is. He was terrible at Arizona State. And by the way, you mentioned C.J. Stroud. I'm glad you did because, like C.J. Stroud, this guy makes it look easy.
Yep.
It's like effortless to throw the football. Do you realize that 50-yard completion? He didn't have a 50-yard completion at LSU last year. That's incredible when you think about it. That's how good he is. He is significantly right now better than the other rookie quarterback.
And the one throw that was the most impressive to me was that second touchdown where he got a blitzer coming at him and got blasted and delivered the ball on time and with great accuracy.
And that was a knock on him. Would he be able, he's a thin guy, would he be able to be tough enough and physical enough to stand in there and make the throws? And he stood in there and got blasted and made the throw.
Yeah, and Pete, you said he's significantly better than the other rookie quarterbacks. So, of course, we're all thinking of Caleb Williams. And you had made the comment earlier, at what point do we think, hey, maybe the Bears drafted the wrong team?
Oh, God.
Rick,
you can't go down that road. It's 3 weeks. And you see from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. This was his best week. Caleb Williams, yes. And the reason I'm saying that, he threw for like double the yards this week than he did in the first 2 weeks combined. And
he also threw it 50 times.
Yeah, well, he's starting to get better down the field. His accuracy, he still is a little hesitant with his reads, but when he gets rid of the ball under 2.5 seconds and he's in rhythm, he is very good. And he had a great, and he was like 19 of 22 and a touchdown when he got rid of the ball under 2.5 seconds. The BS stuff that he does running around like Rodeo Joe in the back, that stuff is, you can't do that at the NFL. And flowing floater balls up down there, those DBs are going to break on that. So I think he's learning. But I thought it was great progress from what we saw earlier to what we see now. And that combination with Adunze, that's going to be deadly down the road.
He was better. He was better.
Much better.
But, well, when you look at the numbers, they look better. The yards look better. He got 50 on a Hail Mary at the end of the half. The kid got to discount that, take that off the top. He threw two terrible interceptions.
The interceptions were bad.
Bad interceptions. You're right. He runs around too much. This isn't USC. He lofts the ball like he did at USC. You get away with that. You can't get away with that here. To answer that question now, you can't ask that question right now, but I guarantee you there are Bears fans after Monday night are sitting around watching saying we drafted the wrong quarterback, and there are Commanders fans who say, thankfully, we got the right quarterback. I thought he was the right quarterback coming into the draft. I'm not sure you did.
I liked Caleb Williams a lot, but when Dan Quinn hired Cliff Kingsbury, and they made that combination because Cliff Kingsbury is a magician with those type of quarterbacks. That's why you're seeing Jayden Daniels excel.
But he liked Caleb Williams more than Jayden Daniels.
I did, but you gotta marry up with who their coaches are.
Yeah, well, one's better than the other right now.
And I had some inside
trying to
scoop,
say-
so you know, back. Yeah.
Oh,
you do.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, we forgot about that.
But
Okay.
he was probably in that room going, "You guys need to draft Caleb Williams. Trade up and get Caleb Williams."
Oh, God. Okay. Oh, you can hear Rick on the With the First Pick podcast. Who's the top quarterback on your board for next year right now?
Beck, by far.
Beck, by far.
Okay.
I agree.
He's got a huge game this weekend.
It'll be
At
fun.
Alabama.
Bad offensive line. He might get hit a bunch this week.
Okay, we'll
I called
see.
that the Big Daddy game earlier.
The Big Daddy
Yeah, you
game?
liked it, or-
Yeah, I did. I love Big Daddy games.